Good morning. Good morning. Let me go ahead and get this bad boy up and edit that. Okay. Let's see. Thumbs. Good morning, Donnell. Um, let me just go over some of these stocks that have popped up today. Some of them have news and some of them don't. Okay. Turn this brightness up. So the first one that I saw over here was Carvana leading the way. Carvana has a little bit of news trading shares trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q1 results. Said it expects to achieve positive EBITDA in Q2. The next one is a lower float SVFD. We have seen that. I think it's Savor Food or something like that. I've seen this one up before. Doesn't really have any kind of news on it today, but let's look back a couple of days. Let's see. Safe Food CEO releases a letter to stockholders on the 18th. Safe Food acquires about 3 million Plantify food shares. They had a strategic move acquiring a 20% stake in Flint. Okay, that's still talking about the same shares that they got. So they acquired 30 million shares of Plantify Foods in the last couple of days. Let's see, NBTX up 124%. Nanobiotics earlier announced it was entering final contract negotiations following following agreement to non-binding term sheet for development of some drug. Okay, don't really know what that drug does, but it's up 124%. And then the rest of these, that's the bank that's been filing PACW, AGBA, a little bit looks like a higher float. It may be on continuation. I wouldn't trust it today though. It was up like what 200% at one of those days. Fubo, much higher float, and then Apple looks like WBD. What is that? Warner Bros, Discovery, AMC, and so a lot of higher floats coming in here, but no high relative volume in here though. So that's something to look at as well, to pay attention to. I did take a trade yesterday. I Let me go over there real quick since we got time and we pretty much don't have anything that's crazy pressing on the agenda right now. The thing that I trade, well, the two stocks that I watched yesterday was SNGX and SVRE. SNGX, I just could not find a obvious level on the charts to enter this one. Like I look back and I was like, okay, where's obvious consolidation on this thing where it can fall to and kind of have a bounce? And it never showed me any of that. This little flat point right here, I usually don't count these as being super obvious, like a consolidation like this. And then let me draw, well, actually, let me bring y'all over here. Let me draw support. Like a little consolidation like this, I don't count this as an obvious level. I want to see big range in that level, a nice bounce in that level. And it came down to this level and went on down. The other one that I actually ended up trading was SVRE. SVRE, I got super impatient on. Super impatient. I saw this thing. I had called it out in the Discord back here. We were talking, me and Donnell were talking in the Discord about these two stocks. And I was like, man, that 175 level is the spot that I need to see break down. I got impatient. I got impatient on SVRE and I entered early at the 185 or around the 180s. And I didn't wait for that breakdown. But the obvious level, if we look back here on the charts, we can see that the obvious level was that 175 breakdown to see if it can hold. I think the 175 was right in here. So let's say that was support 175. let's say somewhere in there. And so if we look back on the charts, how many times has it tested that level and got a little bounce? So it came down here, 175 bounce, 175 bounce. All these 175 tests through here with no body up there, like no like long consolidation around that. It would just hit it, test it, hit it, test it, and come on back down. And so I was like, okay, if this thing, my original thesis before I got impatient was if this thing can come under 175, close whatever hour candle that it has, and I want to look for the next level of support. Next level of support was right here. This top side 150, around 150. And when I looked at the level twos earlier on the day, let's see, level twos, I think I posted that in here. I saw like 15,000 shares on the level twos at 150. And I was like, man, 150 is an interesting level. I wonder, can it get down there? And, you know, it did. So I actually entered early here on this support, or what I thought was support. Like, I was looking at the lower time frames. I got tunnel vision on this lower 15-minute. And I just was like, oh, I'm just going to get in here. And it continued down on me. So I broke a rule there as well. Continued down and did get down here to the 150s where I was originally like, I think that will be a good buy spot. Now in this spot, I did enter bigger size on yesterday. I entered about 3,000, almost 4,000 shares, but it wasn't, it was like 3,991 or something like that. Cause I added some, or not I added, I got in here at, I got it in 3,000 shares for a move back up here, but this was not a obvious level. This was a level that I created in my own imagination that did not make sense. The real level here was down here at the 150. And so down here at 150, you know, this is where I added a little bit just to bring my average lower, because this is the spot that I was thinking was going to bounce. I knew that this spot up here was just me and impatience. So it did come back up to this level, and I exited around this level. Now I had a big swing in the P&L, but I was confident that this 150 was a spot and not the original spot that I got in. So back here on my recording, I did actually record it. I jumped in, and I just kind of zoomed through this. This is when it was at the 180s, 185-ish. And I was like, man, this thing looks good. It's got a little wick down here. It looks good as support, but this is on the lower time frame. And I always never trust the lower time frames first. Get your confirmations. Look at these higher time frames. Look at this hour here. This hour chart. Still big red looking downwards. Why am I looking to buy this with this like this? Why? The big time frames were both red. I didn't zoom into this 4 hour. I wish I did, but I didn't zoom in. It was showing big red too. And so I entered here in what I thought was good support here off the 180. And I was up 70 or whatnot. And I was like, okay, this is good. This is good. And then it came back down to break even. And I was like, oh man, come on, man. I thought this was the level, but it was not. The larger time frames was showing me, you know, this wasn't it, bro. And I had 2,250 shares right now. And I was like, oh man. And so it came down to this 160, and I started adding. I added some more in this dip to see if we can get a retracement back up. And it finally made it all the way down through wicks down around that 150 level. And I was like, okay, I'm in a situation here where, you know, I'm thinking 150 is a bounce spot, but how much pain am I willing to hold on here? So 150, I had my stop down there already. It was on the tape, or not on the tape, but on the books already. And just didn't want it to break 150. I actually went to lunch and went to go and get something to eat or whatever, and came back, and it was just muddling around, you know, just doing its thing back and forth. And I was looking for this thing to kind of retrace back up here to the 180. And it did end up retracing to the 180 off this 150 test, but it's just, this is where I should have been entering, down here at the 150 instead of where I entered The 150 was the spot. And with that 150 entry, the obvious entry on the day, that would have been a nice 150, and it went back up to the 185s, and I would have definitely had a clean. I had 3,991 shares, and I'm just looking for the 14 cents. So it would have been 558. But if I got in at this lower price, I probably would have got an even 4,000 shares on 14 cents. So that would have been 560. So I'm like, okay. Two things when I was going back through the video that I noticed. One is the competition on the day for this stock. The competition on the day for this stock, Carvana and some of I'm not Carvana. What was some of them that was on that recording? FHN was the big bank stock that was taking all the attention, right? It was down 32%, but still doubling. And this is one of the rules that I broke. Had a stock out here doubling the stock that I was interested in. So SVRE, and then we got FHN up here, almost 100 million shares traded. Why am I jumping in this one? Rule broken. So yes, the trade could have worked out, but I mean, still, this was still kind of small movement, and this one was a sub $2 stock. So, but all in all, I did it did end up coming back up. I think I was down. Let's see, it went down to like what, $800. I thought I was down more than that, but yeah, $800, and then it resurfaced above that 150, came on back in, blah blah blah. And I was constantly moving that stop up. It came back up to the 180s at one point. I was like, oh, this might just go ahead and get up, because I was looking at this 4 hour at this time, and I was like, okay, let's just get a pop through 180 and see if we can hold those 180s. But it just did not have the volume behind it. As you can see, the volume bars down there, only 100,000 shares down there. So not enough volume, too much competition. We had, look at all these stocks above it. 5 stocks above, well, not 5, this is the SPY. 4 stocks above it, 97 million, 83 million, 78 million, 40 or no, that is the stock. But yeah, just a lot of competition on the board against it as well. So all in all, it was like a $287 loss. But I'm coming off the winning streak. I had 13 consecutive wins, and each one of those were about $200. So I took this little loss in stride. I was like, okay, this is okay. I can look forward to the next setup, a more obvious setup, and actually taking the obvious entry. If I see a huge position sitting out there on the level twos early in the morning, I'm like, why didn't I just wait? Why didn't I just wait for this thing to fall where I needed it to? And why, even if it did fall where I needed it to, why did I still take the trade with the competition on the day, right? Because then most of my winners are on the biggest volume movers. The more people that are in there trading on the stock, the better that I do. So, it was one of those things. It's like, yes, this was a high risk. It was missing two of the factors that have contributed to my winners. And so that's pretty big. Two factors there. So I just had to kind of quickly rewatch the tape yesterday and just learn from my mistakes and what was going on in the environment. Because whenever I try to break down or analyze my trade, I'm like, I start small first, and then I work my way out all the way to the overall environment that the stock was in. So was this even an environment to take this trade? And this trade was up 54%. It was up much more than that. It was up like almost 70% at market open, and it came on down. And so I kind of botched that trade. Broke two rules there. So again, just got to work on that consistency. But with the overall loss, it wasn't a crazy loss. Even if it was the $800 loss, it still would have been bad. But I kind of held through the pain because of that support that was there at 150. I was like, you know what? And look at the level twos down here, man. You got people entering now after this little breakdown, 56,000 shares on the bid. You see, that's what I'm looking for on the level twos. And I wasn't seeing that up here before it broke down. Look at, I mean, you can see the sizes coming in 167 and pushing this thing on upward. And you can see the push up there. But anyway, that's yesterday's trade, which was, it was okay. Definitely was some profit in there to be taken, but I have to think about it. Do I want to take the trade that's not the hottest thing on the day and possibly end up in something that continues down, or do I want to wait for something that is the hottest thing that's going to give me, because this right here, this setup was probably a C plus setup, right? C plus setup coming in here. If I waited for, now this up here, the 180 level was probably an F minus entry right there. This entry right here was probably a C plus setup based on the environment. If this was the hottest stock on the day, maybe it would have been a B plus, A setup. But this was a C plus setup because of the environment, because of the competition on the day. But anyway, that was the trade from yesterday. Took two trades. I'm still green on the week. I did give back some profits with that loss, but still green on the week overall. Today, though, we are looking at Carvana, SVFD, PACW is still the bank that's been falling and still falling. PACW, and I actually need to look at my dividend stocks, see where they're at. Okay, Schwab, my dividend banking stocks is what I mean. Schwab came down there, tested this little level here, or almost tested this level at the 44.98. I want to see it break this down. This is a larger moving stock, larger cap stock, so it's kind of harder to slow down the momentum. But this is a previous support level. I just want to see it break it down. Break down at 40. What is this? 45 that it bounced at again. That'll be a double bottom. But I'm looking to take this one for dividends. We also had Ally Bank on the watch. Bank of America doing the same little dip down, looking for it to break down that level. And a lot of times the confirmation that I look for in my trades is a break of a major obvious support level and then a consolidation under that level, like not right below that level, but around that level, and then a retake of that obvious level. So a retake of, it's like the 150. I think the stock that I was watching on SVER or SVRE came down, and I was looking at the 150 level as a interesting level. It came down to that 155-ish. That's 5 cents from the 150. That is amazing risk to reward. That's a 5 cent risk to reward, and you get almost an immediate gain out of that, 30 cents. So, but the obvious level that I was looking to break, which it did break, was this 175. So this 175 was the level. And this was the consolidation under this level of 175, which should have been the entry down here on 150 for a retest of this obvious level of 175, which it did and got up to 185-ish. So that would have been a nice little gain over that level. But yeah. Anyway, what are you guys watching today? Are you going to get active on any of these? Now, we only have two real low float looking stocks here on the scans, which is SNGX, which is down 47%, and SVFD, which is only up 40%. Okay, everything else here is a little bit higher float, and I guess I have to wait to these relative volumes recalculate during intraday. They do change during intraday based on the volume, but as of now, SNGX, this was the volume, or this was the relative volume from yesterday, so it hasn't recalculated yet. But we'll see how that changes on the open. We have about 10 minutes left to the open, and see how the market reacts on Friday. Be careful, Friday is known to be a sell-off day, but most times we've seen that stocks that are going up, that are going against that selling pressure, they usually get choppy, but they are strong to the upside. So we'll see what happens today. We got the SPY here that was down on the four. Lori says GFAI running, or GFAI going to run today, and AMC. Let's stick those up there. GFAI. What's GFAI and AMC? AMC up 2%. Oh yeah, AMC already has a uptrend. Definitely uptrending. Let's see, it got above this level of the 590, and then GFAI was one that went up yesterday. It had a little bit of a drop from 12 down here to the 482s, and yesterday had a nice run up from the 5 up to the 8, and kind of consolidated at a higher level here. So wondering, I guess this is what Lori is looking at. It has a top side of this previous candle up here to the 11s. We draw a little bit of resistance. Well, I guess there's already support up there, but resistance at the top of this body candle, that'll be a $4 move up. But it also has a previous top here at the 897 for maybe some resistance there. So maybe a dollar check up to this level. Don't know how it would try to hold. Right now, though, it is on low volume. So if it was to make that move, it would have to be, I don't know. Maybe it have to receive some more volume or something. But definitely lower volume and in direct competition with some of these other ones right now. We'll see what happens, though. What? Okay, I forgot to switch y'all over here. GFAI, this is what I was talking about. So on GFAI, had a top up here at the 8, whatever this is, and has a previous fall point. The top of the body of this candle is at 1195, but also had a high here at 916. One of these could act as resistance, and so we'll have to see. I don't know which one that Lori was looking for it to go up to. I don't know if this top one here at 897 or almost $9, or the 11. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at, Donnell. I don't see any crazy things to trade either. But you know, my money's coming back to me on Monday, so it's like it's whatever. You know, I took a shaky trade yesterday. Not the greatest, I guess, but I don't expect every trade to be the greatest. I just expect to manage the risk of every trade, no matter what. No matter what. Carvana threw a wick up there to the Carvana threw a wick up there to almost the 11s. We'll see what Carvana's almost to 10 million shares traded. The crazy thing is this is Friday, and a lot of times I've noticed over the past couple of weeks, Fridays pre-markets are like almost like dead, like the volume. But some of these stocks on Friday always pop up. I mean, just random pop-ups. And so it's so hard to kind of formulate entries, especially when they pop up big. Like let's say if they start the day at like Lori was saying, GFAI start the day at 4%, right? And then after open, 15 minutes in, it pops 50, 60%. Where do you enter at that point on intraday? And how many shares, or not how many shares, but who's going to be willing to continue to buy after such a random pop, right? That's the only thing that keeps me out of those, because of course, you know, I've been buying dips, I've been buying lows, I buy only under VWAP. So you know, it's like I need it to be low. I'm trying to get in. I want to get in when everyone sees it, but at good prices. Because the more volume you have, the more eyes you have on it. But if I'm buying high, I'm trading against longs. Longs that are buying high and selling very quickly. If I'm buying low, I'm trading against shorts. shorts that are maybe late on a play, maybe late on a push down, and they're continuing to get in and they get trapped. So I don't like trading against longs for real. Longs are crazy. They be dropping shares. They be buying 20,000 shares and just dropping them above VWAP, and I'm like, nah, I'm good. Y'all be punching me in the mouth. I can't trust y'all longs. So I put my trust in the shorts around obvious support that they will find and be provided with the right level of fear to cause them to cover for me. Cause y'all longs, man, y'all something else. Y'all will buy shares and just drop it above VWAP. Just drop it. Be like, yeah, I'm in while it's going up, and then just sell a second later. What can I do with that? I can't do anything with that. Y'all don't play fair. Okay, so yeah, 4 minutes to the opening bell. Lori says AMC earnings today. Okay, AMC earnings play. AMC with 2 million shares on the. Now, are their earnings being reported in the aftermarket, or are they being reported before? Let's see. AMC earnings. Where's the doggone this thing? And I want to go to AMC earnings. AMC. Where's AMC? Or actually, maybe I need to refresh. AMC earnings. AMC. Okay. So they got their earnings report this morning. So we'll see the reaction during the morning here. Let's see, anybody else that we know. Warner Brothers got their earnings. That's why they're up on the charts. A lot of earnings plays out here. And this is NASDAQ.com. That's where I check earnings. I check the IPOs, use BAM SEC and all that. But yeah, like Donnell said today, with what we see, and a lot of times on Fridays, pre-market is dead. Most of the time, if pre-market is hot, the rest of the day is going to be dead on Friday. But if pre-market is dead, we may see some random pop-ups. So we'll see what the market does, or will people focus in on some of these earnings plays? Was GFAI earnings play too? GFAI. Let's see. Garfers rebound. Nope. Not an earnings play. I don't know. I don't know what the thesis behind the GFAI is, but we're about to see. That'd be so funny if Lori's right and GFAI just takes off and is up like 70% after the open. I'm just gonna watch it. You know me, I'm just gonna watch it, be like, wow, wow, look at it touch the ceiling. Lori called out NTBX. NTBX. NBTX. Okay, yeah. What in the world? Okay, so it's up 121. Oh yeah, that was already up here. Okay, yeah. Is it this one? What was the reasoning behind this one up 120 something percent? Oh, they had they had the agreement to a non-binding term sheet for the development and commercialization of their drugs. So they haven't even started development yet. The markets are open. We'll see what ends up doing this thing today. You know, it's crazy, man. The first, let's see, NBTX coming on down. Carvana, Carvana. Can you come up here and test this $11? Or are you going to consolidate a little bit, then try to go up? Pack W down. SVFD coming on up, only $1.18. NTVX, slight movement, but nothing really exploding out. No kind of over 10% gainers on the day, so no heavy movement upwards. Waiting for those random stocks to pop up, though. The only problem with the random stocks popping up, they have to catch up to even come on my scans to compete with some of these other higher volume ones. NBTX looking like it's getting a little push down. So we'll start the scanner maintenance here in a second to start cleaning some of these up and narrowing down what's going to be holding on the day. GFAI, look at Lori. How do you know? Lori ain't right. Lori got the inside scoop somewhere. Lori, nah. Lori knows something. She's a psychic. Yep. But GFAI did get a little bit of pop up there to the 769s. Still low volume though, in competition with none of these at the moment. Go ahead and get rid of SVRE. NBTX is a larger float. Yeah, so it's gonna be chopping around. Well, like I said, the the biggest one on the day is Carvana, up 6-7%. Look at it. That's the one. Going up there, touching. Now, we've seen this pattern a couple of times where it comes up, touches a obvious level, so gives the longs a chance to get in, comes above this level, and then comes down. The only thing is Carvana has catalyst. So if the shorts do take this level, is this a dangerous level to take behind Carvana's catalyst? And I would say yes. With it being a larger float, that thing may not come down too much. You know. Look at that thing. Is it into a halt? Oh, I was about to say, what? That thing, well, bouncing up there. But this is the top mover on the day. If someone were to open up their scan right now, they would either see NBTX or this guy moving up with up 11% since the open. And we've seen this pattern multiple times, so I do expect it to at least come down and retest this level and try to hold this, 10? Ooh, it came. Oh, wow, that was a quick test. Came down right there off that top level. But I think this is just ensuing fear. I don't think this thing is going to dump. I think this thing is going to end up holding up today. This is just getting those first retail traders out of there that's going to take that first little stab here, and then it's going to end up grinding higher. I don't think this thing is over. Look at all that fear they're getting. Fear, and then all of a sudden it just rises through the ashes. Right back up here. What is VWAP at? 1059. SVFD also up 8%. So it's the biggest gainer out of the open. Or actually, no, GFAI is still coming up as well. Well, with 5%, but the volume is just so low. So both of these. NBTX, very small pop outs. This jump up here was from 470s, 475 up to the $5. So about a 20-cent pop out right there. Being a higher float, that is trading pretty correct. Yep. Yep, Donnell. Um, Lori says I screw up a lot. BBBY cough. Yeah, well, BBBY, I don't know. It's if you take every trade within a certain parameter, if every one of your trades has that same parameter, you increase the chances of you winning though. And if you manage that risk and you win a whole lot more than what you lose, it works out. But if you have a 30% probability of being right, 20% probability, that's when it starts to be like, man, I ain't making no money here. I need to do something else. Like on the strategy that I'm using, yes, I went for 13 consecutive green trades and I had the one red, but the one red I can't really count in that process because it was missing two of the major factors that was in all the other 13. So I can't really add it into or conjunct it into that little grouping and be like, oh yeah, this was a trade that I lost, this strategy lost, because that strategy didn't lose. I lost by not following my rules. I lost by not being aware of the environment. So can't blame the strategy on that one. Okay, Carvana just holding right there, nice and pretty. Getting a lot of fear going. Previous consolidation level was the nines. But like I said, with the proper catalyst, it may not even come down here to 9. May just consolidate above it. It's got the 950 here as support. So it has 18 million shares traded on it. If we jump over here to the scans real quick, we can see that it is definitely doubling most of these down here. And so yeah, I'm thinking it's gonna get up to 11, back up to 11, maybe even 12. Just holding stalemate at the 1020 right there. Is this thing halted down? Okay, Carvana is halted. I was like, wait, is this a stalemate? Okay, so Carvana definitely got some fear in it now. Gonna be crazy. So we'll see if any kind of crazy poppers can come up and try to catch up with it. The next one is PACW. This is going in. PACW is also halted up. NB, is this gonna be a nice halting day where we see a lot of halts? Some people like to focus on halt trading. I do not. I think it's suicidal because you don't know what. I mean, a drop can go so far. There's only so much calculation that you can do on a trade out of a halt. But I mean, visually seeing it come out of a halt, seeing the ATR, the average true range, and kind of knowing, okay, this thing just dropped. It's been given a consistent dollar move, and it just dropped, $1.50. So that is out of the norm. Let me go ahead and buy this dip. But if it's something smaller that's less calculated that you can't actually quantify visually, it ain't worth it. You're just gonna get caught in a tornado. GFAI pulling back nicely off the got up there to the 760s, back down here to the sevens, still on low volume. SNGX dying to the downside. Let's see what else we got here. So we got, I'm just gonna put the top 10 on here. So we got Warner Brothers, we got AMD, we got Lyft, did I put Tesla out here already? No, Tesla's not here. SVFD, Fubo, FUBO, NBTX, I think we already had that one. PACW, Carvana, and Apple. Apple taking the top slot for right now. And we go over here to the scans. This is what I'm looking at. The percent gainers that are on the list. It's only one. It's only spotted one. So it's NBTX up 150%. If you look at the relative volume, it does have quite a bit of high relative volume. Let's go look at NBTX's float. NBTX. The float is looking like 30.51 million. Doesn't have a whole lot of insiders. Let's see. NBTX. Shelf registration from that's last year, February of last year. It's still in play. Because regular shelf registration can go 2 years. Let's go over to FinViz, NBTX. NBTX. So we got shares float, shares outstanding 34, shares float 33. It is shortable, not optionable. In institutional ownings 9%. No real data for the insider owning. Relative volume at 0. Okay. So yeah. Let's go ahead. I think NBTX is going to be a trap on the day, especially with it already falling down the list here. It's got 10 million shares, but already being doubled by Apple. We're going to see how Carvana opens up. Let's go and check the halt for Carvana. Halt scans. Carvana halted at 937. Should be opening up at 942.31. 942.31. So coming up here in a second. And we'll see how Carvana opens. Will it... Did I type that wrong? Oh, I typed Apple wrong. I was like, what? APL. Okay, I was about to say, I know Apple took the first spot. I didn't see it. Okay, and then Carvana. So on the 32, we got about 10 seconds. Let's see how it opens. Will it hold these levels and go higher? How much fear is in this thing? Okay, so it should have opened up. So it's going to be a 10-minute halt for this one. Oh, it did open up. There it is. That was a late open. Gee whiz. All right, so the bottom here came down to 964. 19 million shares traded right now. I think it's definitely got some fear behind it at this point. NBTX up 17% right now, but still just what's that? Up not even $1. It's almost up $1. And this is only the first 15 minutes of the market. The first 15 minutes closes in 2 minutes. So this is all of the analysis, the intraday analysis that I start with. I'm like, okay, let's look back at the charts. Let's find those obvious levels that these things can fall back to, and let's get active. Primarily, I'm looking at low floats. So, I mean, with the higher floats, sometimes I trade them, but they really got to give me a this is too good to be true type scenario for me to trade them. If they're already gone, if they're on earnings or something, I've already missed. I'm already behind. So, I don't want to get scalped out. AMC took quite a bit of a nice little dump down there from the 6 down here to the 575s. Only up, well, not up at all. -1 on the day. GFAI. Okay, so yeah, you can actually just look at the numbers and see the volume and see where the people are. I mean, you can just see them feeding into this, just feeding in, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Carvana coming down here to this previous level. I'm thinking they can break it down. It might break it down and test this previous consolidation level here at the 908. Or play within this gap here. This gap is from the 945 down here to like the 930s or something. We'll see if it wants to play in the gap. and then try to retrace back up. Apple continuing to explode upward, leading the day with 25 million shares traded. PACW is now halted, but this bank has been falling for so long. Let me go and look at the news on PACW. PACW, American Bankers Association, calls on SEC to probe short selling, abusive practices. And the abusive practices that they're talking about, people have been doing naked shorts, which has been putting banks in a horrible situation, especially when people are trading on margin, right? Usually, when you take a large position with the bank, you want to hedge that position. So if you're going to short something, you want to hedge it to the long side as well at that same bank. So let's say your short starts pushing you out, right? And it starts ripping, going parabolic. Well, yes, you are losing money on the way up, but you are also hedged against it on the way up. People have been naked short selling huge share sizes, millions of shares, and getting punched in the mouth. But not just them, but the margin that they're using at that bank. Let's, and of course you guys know the last couple of weeks we've seen 200, 300, 400% gainers multi days. So think about those banks getting punished on those margin calls. Oh, good morning, Jimmy. We're out here watching, looking around. Okay, PACW just opened up. I really don't think that thing's gonna hold up. It's just, ugh. It's one of those stocks that just needs to fall. And a bank has already, I think it was it JP Morgan with them that's trying to buy their assets. I think it's JP Morgan buying PCW's assets. PACW's assets. AMC down here had a low of the 565s, back down here to this kind of indecision level and this top level here. So support right across this level. This was a top, and this was another indecision after it built off of this level that it came back. Oh, and this is a top back here. Let me make this bigger. So you can actually look back. It's definitely been tested back here. Couple of consolidations through that level on AMC and bouncing there. Okay, okay. So now, looking back at the scans, we see that the low floats are fading off the scans. Like SV, this is what SVRE looked like for me yesterday. It was just fading. Everything else was getting attention except the stock that I was looking at, just fading off the top 10. I like to trade the things that are going to be strong and compete against each other. And a lot of people be like, oh, well, these tickers have nothing to do with each other. Yeah, they do. They're up on the same day trying to attract attention. It's almost like going on YouTube and having videos up, and some videos have 1 million views and some have like none, right? Who on the day did the best on the day? This is a day that I want to make money. This is a time period that I want to make money. So yeah, these tickers do have something in common. No matter their catalyst or whatever, they're up on the same day during the intraday that I'm trying to make money. SPY continuing up, back up to the 410. Man, the SPY has been kind of volatile, hasn't it? Went up to the 413, dropped down here to the 400s, back up to the 410s. All right. PACW halted down now. Of course. Duh. About to lose this little life. I would not be surprised if this thing opens up incredibly lower. You know, wouldn't even surprise me. But we will see if it is a 5-minute halt. Carvana coming down into this level, this previous level of the $9. So at this point, how do you play this? Do you say, okay, are we going to let Carvana come and test the 9? Or will Carvana hold the 9? We don't know. Right? And some people on a higher float stock like this, they'll take a starter position of a very small position and then add a little bit lower and then add some more on the confirmation of the return higher. But at this point, we don't know. It's just playing in the gap. Playing in the gap. So the body of this previous candle is 903 for maybe some possible support. But is that support obvious back here on the charts? And I don't really see a obvious level, but I had a couple of dips around this level. One, but nothing super obvious, so I don't know. Tesla up to the 166, 16 million shares traded. Where are those low floats, man? Low floats just eating the dust out here. High relative volume, but nobody's interested. These stocks are now getting doubled and possibly even tripled later on in the day. NBTX on the daily chart. Let's look at it. Boy, this thing is spotty. Jumped up here 550s, came down to the 430s. This thing's pretty spotty. Not a lot of confidence back here. SVR or SVFD came back down as well. Again, not a lot of confidence, not a lot of obvious level of consolidation here. Popped into this previous consolidation, but this is acting as support right here. I mean, not support, resistance. Okay. Carvana coming on down to this level. VWAP is back at the 1012s, but since this thing is a higher float, you can't just expect this thing to just pop back up. Even though it's possible, watching these higher floats, we know that they like to grind in whatever direction that they're gonna go, you know. So you may be one that you have to kind of hold for a minute to get the actual gain out of it. AMC is still trading down there. It's got 8 million shares traded on it. AMD coming up a little bit. But yeah, pretty much no low floats that are active today, so I'm not going to kill too much time watching this thing. PACW came out of the halt. Looks like it's going to go back into a halt here. Well, it looked like it was a halt coming up, but pressing on down. I do see another stock that just popped up, which is BAOS. Let me see what this thing's doing. Of course, this is Friday, so we may see some random pop-ups. Wait, did I type that wrong? BAOS. BAOS. And this is what I'm talking about, man. Like this right here. No one saw this thing, man. This thing went from 644, jumped up here to 10. That's random. Anybody buying there, this it's like that's super random. Let me look at the news on it. Probably doesn't even have any. No news. Bo Shang Media Group. And that's what I'm saying. These Friday, the things that aren't up during pre-market, if you're willing to trade some crazy stuff, then you have at it. But I like to have a full day of action for me to take action. If you starting in the intraday, you may run out of time. You may run out of time, bro. Up 70%. And definitely getting doubled and tripled and quadrupled by these top level movers. Carvana coming on down into this previous consolidation level. So at this point, if this was a low float, I look for it to break this level first and then consolidate under this level, like around maybe the 875s, like right under this level is what I'm looking for. And looking at the higher time frames, I want to see these candles close. This hour candle needs to close and show us, like, this candle is too big. It went from 11 all the way back down to the 917. I want to see those candles get smaller, kind of shrink down and show me some kind of pressure, some kind of thought process. Do they want to go up? Do they want to stop here? Because it can definitely make another candle this same size going down here to $8. So I want to see it slow down and find a support wall. Is this a actual support wall right here at the $9? This consolidation. Man, I gotta get some water. Anyway, we got about 4 minutes left on the 4 minutes left on the stream. I'm not gonna kill too much time. I got other things I need to go and accomplish today. But yeah, Friday looking like a regular Friday. Random pop-ups, Freaky Friday. So just be careful if you're gonna continue trading these NBTX. Look at it snapping back and forth. Look at that range. 443s up here to the 523 snapback. Now, if it can do this from the down to the upside, think about it doing it on a breakout, breaking back into this range. Just not conducive to making money. I mean, you can take that opportunity, but what's the quality of that opportunity? Anyway, that is it for me today. We pretty much looked through everything. We'll pop back over here to the scans real quick. And this was BOS, BAOS that popped up here, but not too interested in that one. And then the top volume movers, not really seeing any of the high relative volumes up towards the top winning on the day. Those are just fading out, So even FVFD is now under $1, or SVFD is now under $1. Crazy. So that's definitely out of the picture. Under $1. AGBA only up 15% now. Let's do some scanner cleanup before I close out. I mean, we got 2 minutes. Let me do some scanner cleanup real quick, so we don't get caught in some craziness. AMC, I don't know what that's gonna do. It's in direct competition with Carvana, and I'm thinking Carvana's gonna continue up on the day. So I would clear that one. GFA, maybe AMC will be a play into next week or something. Warner Brothers only up 1%, down since intraday, -2. MBTX higher float with the shelf registration that is still in play. Not great. AMD marking up, only up 1%. Tesla is gonna be Tesla. Huge range, nasty moves. PACW, not really looking too attractive based on what we know about it. Fubo still up 16% and grinding higher, only up $1 or only at $1.60. So that may be one that scalpers may keep on watch. Carvana is definitely one to keep on watch around these levels that it's testing if you trade the higher float stocks. And so yeah, we've cleaned up the list. Apple, I usually leave the top, whatever the top volume mover is, I usually leave it up there because I want to see how people if it falls, if it drops, if it dries up in volume, and there's going to be a new top volume mover, I like to know that. But yeah, that's it for me today. Cleaned up the scans and everything. So I'm gonna go and enjoy the rest of my day. I'm green on the week, gave back a little bit of profit, but getting these consistent green weeks. Of course, we're gonna take some reds as sometimes, but I'm okay with that. I'm just looking forward to the next, 10, 20, 30 trades, 40 trades, 50 trades to be consistent and take those obvious trades. But that's it for me today. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you enjoy the content. We'll be back on Monday morning, hot and ready. And we'll see what next week comes and if new news drops and how these new interest rates are going to affect the market. I'll also be researching the CPI over the weekend to see what it's been doing because I haven't looked at it since Monday. I need to look back at it and see how it changed after the Fed news came out. But that's it for me. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.